you think? Good. Love you, Sophie. All right, guys, what is happening? How's your day going so far? So it's Sunday, September 8th, 2019, and I'm just leaving the house to go and meet Nikki. We're gonna have some dinner tonight out by her. So I'm gonna meet some of her theater friends and all that sort of stuff tonight, and I'm pretty excited about that. She's performing a musical, I guess it's considered, called Little Shop of Horrors, and it's I think it's the performances go on at the end of the month, and so she's been practicing and all that stuff, and on Sundays, today's Sunday, she has her longer practice, so they're kind of getting more down now near the crunch time, so they have like full practices and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. Let's see. So yesterday, I don't know if I filmed any video footage yesterday, but I got I'm kind of excited. So I was able to boot up my old media server. So when I had my house 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, I had a media server, and back then I was running something called Sage TV. And so my media server had all my media on it, so music, movies, TV shows. It even had a TV tuner card in it, and all that stuff. And it also handled my home automation and stuff like that. So I was using Insteon and a little bit of like the X10 technology stuff for my home automation and all that. So nowadays it's way easier. Like the light bulbs and all that, they all have Wi-Fi built into them, so it's incredible. But so basically when the divorce was going on, I literally like powered off all my computers, everything that I owned, and packed it up and got it out of the fucking house because I didn't want my ex or my ex's boy toy or whatever, my buddy, to play with it, fuck with it, or any of that stuff. So, because there's a lot of, you know, sensitive information and shit like that that can be found on computers and all that. I mean, it's just a portal to the outside world and stuff. So, you know, so yeah, so it's been powered off, sitting at the house for a long time, and there's a lot of stuff on it. So I was like, okay, let me see what all I got on it. And this computer is so old, it's running Windows XP, let's put it that way. So, and I built it a long time ago, but it has maybe like upwards of a couple terabytes of hard drive space on it, and media and stuff on it. So, you know, I put some money into it back in the day. It's not quite as elegant and sexy as my NAS, but it's got a lot of good stuff on it. So, like when I was copying over all my other old hard drives and media and stuff to the NAS initially, you know, I sorted everything out, and I had, you know, pictures and movies and all those sorts of things. Well, the one, like my pictures folder, it started at like 2012. Because that was like the newest stuff that I could find, or that I had. And I'm like, wow, what happened to all my older media and stuff? Well, it was on that server. So I booted it up and started copying over all my stuff. And I now have 2002 through 2011 moved over and onto my NAS, which makes me happy because the NAS is RAID. It's redundant, so if a hard drive goes or takes a shit, it's supposed to be redundant. We'll see. But I'm happy about that. So now I have another copy, so to speak. And it's weird too, because I was able to copy off all the pictures and stuff, and then I was doing something else, I was copying something else off, and like the server locked up. And that's the stuff that gets me worried, because I'm like, fuck man, is this thing like gonna die soon, or like what? That server, man, was badass. Like I was running like an FTP server out of my house. I was hosting websites or web pages out of my house. All that stuff, man. That was a badass setup that I had back in the day, man. So I'm trying to plan out and work towards what I want my future setup to be. So it's going to be a lot more powerful, a lot more badass, with a lot more media, of course, you know. So that's kind of what I've been working on and focusing on. So I did get those photos copied over, and I'm really kind of excited to look through those. You know, that was those years were, you know, basically college through Grant's life. Grant was born in 2011, and yeah, now that I think about it, that's funny, because that was literally all my photos before Grant, from before Grant. And so, you know, it was all the time spent with his mom and all that stuff. So, but that was back when I had really good times with all my friends and stuff. So they turned out to not really be the greatest of friends. They just wanted to use me because I was the first one to have a nice house to party at. But that's neither here nor there. So because I copied over, I had 170 gigs of music. I found all my music. Of course I had music, but I had no clue where any of that shit went. MP3s and all that. So I found all my music. I copied that over to the NAS. I found those photos I talked about. So now my NAS is definitely really hurting. It's really getting close to running out of space. So not happy about that, but I'm using it, so it is what it is. So probably what I'll do is bring home one of those NASs that I built at work and offload some of the data from my main NAS into the new one, and that will free up some space or something. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this yet, but the NAS that I have at home that's full, it's a Synology DS 1812 Plus NAS, network attached storage. It's an older model, so it only has copper ports, 2 copper Ethernet jacks on it. Doesn't do fiber, but it's an 8-bay NAS. Right now I have 6 bays populated. I have a fuckload of small, smaller capacity drives, like 2 terabyte drives and stuff, but I don't want to fill it with that, because then I have to figure out, okay, once I populate those last 2 bays with 2 terabyte drives, what do I do once it's full? And that's something that, I'd rather postpone by putting in larger hard drives. So if I can find 2 10 terabyte Iron Wolf drives, they're going to cost probably $500 for the 2 of them. Then I can add literally an extra 10 terabytes on top of what I already have, which is about 10 terabytes, maybe even more. But so that's the goal. It's just I don't have $500 to drop on more shit. So in the meantime, I built those other 2 NASs at work. I'm filling those up, not anywhere near the capacity or as quick as these, the one that I have at the house, but I have them. So I built them, power them off, and when I need them, I can just power them on and they'll work. I'm excited about that. So my next step is to work on getting some Ubiquiti edge routers, and then figuring out, I'm going to want a PoE switch. So I think I need to get moving and get some, I want to get some, what's it called, PoE security cameras set up. So PoE is power over Ethernet. So basically, the switch, you plug in a network cable, a copper Cat6 cable, whatever, and on the other end, you plug it into your camera. Well, the switch itself not only does the data on that cable, but it sends the power through that same cable. And then you can power cameras and other devices and stuff using just one cable. Like, I wouldn't have to run a power cable as well to those cameras. I can just do it all through the one Ethernet port. That's also how stuff like your PoE VoIP phones, your voice over IP phones work. You just literally plug in one cable to them and it powers them and everything. It's pretty awesome. So I got 2 PoE switches from Loop, but they're Cisco switches. Ubiquiti makes some really sexy, badass switches, but they're like, I don't know, $300 or $350 or something like that. So we're looking at a lot of money. I want to spend $500 on NAS hard drives. I want to spend $60. Well, I want to double it, so $120 in 2 edge routers. And then I want to get, that $350 PoE switch, and what else? Oh, and then an access point, that's $130. So we're looking probably, I'm guessing, upwards of almost $1,000 on just my home network setup that I've already spent a substantial amount of money on. But that's the way it works when you do things this way. Like, I don't have to pay for movie rentals and other various things like that. So I don't want to say it saves money because I'm spending it on that other hardware and stuff, but oh, and then we would add in cable and PoE cameras and stuff like that. Those are anywhere from, I don't know, $75 to $100 a piece or something. They make all kinds of different cameras. They make ones with night vision and all that shit. So so it'll be a work in progress. I'll probably start with those edge routers first, and then see if I can get these Cisco switches to do what I want. The Cisco switches shouldn't be too overly complicated, just to get them up and running. Where it will get more interesting is when I start trying to do VLANing and all that sort of stuff. So, but I think they should get me at least up and running for the time being. So yeah, I've just been working on this stuff today, copying data over it, and that it's not really work, it's just copying and pasting data across and stuff. So, but it takes time. I don't want to put that old computer on the network. Like, I just don't want to do that. So I've been transferring it to an external drive, plugging that into my NAS, and just copying it over that way. I'm gonna mothball this server, my old media server. Once I get the data that I want off of it, I'll just put it back into storage. Like it's got some critical stuff on it and all that. Probably what I'll do is copy over or remove the movies and media and stuff like that off, and then maybe I can just copy over like photos or something to that old server and just leave it as that. But I'm happy that now I have access to almost 10 years of photos and stuff. So probably what I'll do is, and I've been doing this for years, is go on to like Shutterfly and start uploading all of those old albums and old photos and stuff. So that's what I'm going to work on. It's just another backup. It's like a cloud backup, I guess you could say. So that's it though. So I'm headed over to do dinner with Nikki and her friends, and then we are going to I'll probably be heading back home or whatever later, and we'll see how that goes. So booyah. Stay tuned for more.